The Joe Rogan Experience.
Like the same thing that keeps people from saying things because they're worried that they're going to be attacked also keeps people from talking to certain people because they're worried about they're being attacked. You know, they'll try to, like, this is one of the things that I felt like Douglas Murray was doing when he was on the podcast, was like trying to gatekeep who I have on. Like, why would you have this person on? Why would you, like, he never even listened to that guy, Daryl Cooper's podcast. Like, I would tell everybody, forget about the politics stuff. Listen to his stuff on Guyana. Listen to his stuff on Jim Jones, the Jim Jones series.
And this is an hours.
Fucking incredible.
Doesn't he do like hours-long discussions? Yeah.
Fear and Loathing in New Jerusalem is something like 30 hours long. Insane stuff. But he's a really thoughtful person, and he delves into all the areas. Let's, you know, look at this from the perspective of the people who were in the cult. Look at it from Jim Jones's perspective. Look at it from the nation of Guyana, where he moves there with his fucking cult and kills everybody with Kool-Aid. I don't think it was Kool-Aid. I think it was like a bargain name. It was like some fake Kool-Aid.
Yeah, we don't want Kool-Aid to sue us.
People always say drink the Kool-Aid, but I do. Google that, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't really Kool-Aid. It was something else.
Great
some
Crush.
cheap, too expensive to kill everybody with top shelf Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's a lot of sugar you got to put in Kool-Aid.
By the
Remember
way-
when you used to make Kool-Aid and it was like, what was it, like a cup of sugar?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then you throw the stuff in there. Bert Kreischer drinks that all day long. It's like a 64-ounce jug of Kool-Aid.
He was shredded.
No, he wasn't.
He was more shredded than he is now.
Yes, yeah, but he's real big right now. I was just talking to him the other day. I was like, dude, you got to do something.
Maybe Flavor Aid.
Flavor Aid.
Similar, but that's actually
might have been
different.
from
Cheaper.
Yeah. So that was from Costco.
Yeah, they got it in bulk. Flavor Aid. There it
Or
is.
Kirkland. Yeah.
What does it say? Your aid? What does it say?
Where?
What is it?
Flay, F-L-A,
Oh.
for aid. Flavor Aid.
Oh, that's an F? Make it larger? Oh, it's blurry.
Probably.
Oh, there
you
it goes.
go.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, Flavor Aid. Okay.
Flavor Aid.
They
Boy,
killed
they're
everybody with Flavor Aid.
They're mixing
Jesus.
it up.
Poison has got to be the fucking worst way to go. Just feeling your body just getting destroyed from the inside out.
Terrible.
For some jackass who's on meth.
Oh.
It's a crazy podcast. But this is my point. Like, what they're trying to do is keep these heterodox opinions, keep people that are like outside of the circle of expertise from talking about things. Even if they've read, like, Daryl Cooper's read like hundreds of books. The guy's like a fucking consummate reader, and you might disagree with him about something. That's fine. That should be okay. It should be
Right.
okay to disagree with people about stuff.
Yeah. And also, what is learning? I mean, what is learning?
Yeah.
So you said he read, he did all this research. Douglas Murray has a problem with I don't know who, but how is that different than going to school, essentially?
Right.
I mean,
It's no different. It's no different. I mean, there are experts that stop learning the moment they get their degree. And that's real.
Yeah.
And it's a real problem. It's a real problem in medicine. You know, I had an argument with Brian Callen years ago because his doctor was telling him, you don't need supplements. You just need a balanced diet. That's what his doctor was saying. I go, your doctor looks like shit. Like, what are you talking? Your doctor's fat. He's got a big pot belly.
Yeah.
He's got a big doughy face. He probably can't run around the block. Shut the fuck up. Don't listen to that guy.
Right.
There's plenty of peer-reviewed papers that talk about the efficacy of vitamins. They're super beneficial for you. This is crazy talk.
Yeah.
This appeal to experts. Just because you have a degree, you're not always right. You're
No,
wrong all
no.
the time.
yeah, that was pretty disappointing because I thought Douglas Murray, I liked listening to him. I thought he was super smart, obviously
But
very
he sounds
articulate.
so good with that accent.
But then on that one, I think I told you, or I texted you something about, man, he seemed pompous. It's like, that seemed like, took a big, for me, it was a loss for him, big time.
Well, he used tactics rather than facts. So the tactic was an appeal to experts like that, and there was also saying that the coverage was imbalanced because I didn't have enough people that were pro-Israel. But then I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, I had quite a few. There was Jordan, Ben Shapiro, there was Coleman Hughes. There's been quite a few people that are pro-Israel. And not even that people are anti-Israel. They just don't want to watch people get blown apart all the time.
Right.
That seems pretty reasonable. But instead of debating how this is done and what is being done militarily, it all became about like who are the experts and what are the things that should be discussed and should it be balanced and do you have an obligation? Like that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to get down to business. So what he's doing is like putting you on the defensive right away out of the gate.
Yeah.
Which is like I recognized it. I'm like, okay.
No, you were perfect. You're perfect. The perfect person to handle that, because most people, when they start getting attacked, you get defensive, you attack back, right? It just changes the whole dynamic of the conversation. But you stayed pretty neutral on that, and
it's a trap.
Yeah,
it's a trap. It's like when someone gets in your face and they start yelling. In your face, like, what are we doing? Are we fighting? Or, I could, like, start yelling, too.
Yeah.
And then maybe I won't be...
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, and then maybe I won't be paying attention to your hands, or your shoulder movement,
Distracted.
or whether or not you're going to hit me.
Yeah. See, that's a tactic. That's a fighting tactic.
100%.
He had the same tactic, but not for fighting, but for conversation.
Yeah, it's a tactic, and then the thing of asking Dave, you've never been. Like, to dismiss... and instead of having a debate on the issues, like... And this idea that an expert, like Douglas Murray, I love him dearly. I think he's a brilliant man. He's got a degree in history, or he's got a degree in English, bachelor's degree. Okay, he's not an expert either. Unless we're talking about Shakespeare, shut the fuck up, because you're not an expert either. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have a degree in anything. I have 0 degrees in anything. But there's certain things that I'm an expert in. You want to talk about martial arts? I'm a martial arts expert. Like if you disagree with me, you have to be like. In order for me to have a conversation with someone where they disagree with me about martial, they have to be so much better. It has to be like Gordon Ryan.
Right.
But I don't disagree with Gordon on anything. For him, like that's a real expert. Again, no degrees. That's a real expert. I would just ask questions like, what do you do in this situation? What's the benefit of this versus that? And so you talk about it. Like with these political issues, they're such a third rail. It's such a fucking dangerous subject that people have like a group that they belong with, and then that group will support them if they go out and say these ideas, and then the other people have another group, and then this person's a representative of one group, and they want to duke it out with the rep. Any reasonable person would look at Gaza and go, this seems kind of excessive. This seems kind of fucking crazy.
Right.
It seems kind of crazy that 70,000 people or whatever it is are dead, including women and children. Like, this is the only way to do it? Really? Yeah. Any reasonable person, that doesn't make you anti-Semitic. It doesn't make you anti-Zionist. It doesn't make you anything. It just doesn't make you pro-Hamas. Like, no, it
could be pro-human.
Yeah, human beings.
I don't think humans should be murdered.
Yeah. Just that sounds so reasonable. But the thing is, like, we never got into that.
Yeah.
Because the conversation, tactically, he entered into the conversation as, because he doesn't have really a defensible position. It's very hard to say this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So what do you say? You say you need better experts. You shouldn't be talking to this person. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Like, why don't you have this? You've never been there. You should go there. Like, bitch, I am not going there. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're not even going to Brazil for another UFC fight.
Yeah, exactly. I don't go to Canada. Like,
not traveling out of the country.
Yeah. It's like, it's not what I'm interested in doing. I don't have to. Like,
well, what's crazy is, so he had that take about unless you're an expert or educated, you shouldn't be able to share this opinion.
Yeah.
But he'd had the opposite take before.
Oh, yeah. Which is hilarious because somebody put a video up of him arguing with him.
Completely opposite. So I asked you about this, not with him, but I asked you, do you think there's like government plants? Because it's like, if somebody, I'm not saying him, I'm just saying just in general, if somebody changes their position I don't know.
I know. It's hard to know.
Who got to him and why did this happen? Because then I look around, we talk about the Power Podcast, and I see these podcasts, and it's just like, how did this podcast get every guest you could ever want and rise to the top in a heartbeat? When we know how it normally works, it works like decades, right, to get to the top. And then some people, so I'm thinking like, how did this happen?
Well, some people are really good. And they could be really good right out of the bat. Right off the bat, they could be, better at it, and then they get a good following, and then once it gets into the top 20 or whatever, then they can get good guests. Because when it comes to...
But that usually takes time.
Sometimes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wonder what would happen if I started the podcast today. if there was all the podcasts that were out right now, and I had never done a podcast, and I started today, and I did it exactly how I'm doing it, how long would it take before it catches on? I don't know.
I don't either.
I would suck, though. That would be a problem. I would suck and everybody would be watching, because I sucked when nobody was watching, and I got better at it. I figured out how to do it. But as far as like Douglas, I don't know if anybody got to him or whether or not the group that he associates with thinks this way. I don't necessarily put everything inside of a grand conspiracy. It might be that he has financial ties towards certain things. You know, like he speaks at certain places. He sells certain books. He knows how he's selling them. I mean, or it might be just that's how he thinks about things too. There's sometimes people always think like, oh, somebody got to him. Like maybe that's just how he thinks.
Yeah.
Somebody has to think that way. Otherwise, that wouldn't be an opinion that's out there in the zeitgeist.
Normally, people don't switch 180 degrees on things, though.
Especially like that. Yeah.
I mean,
that's true. That's true.
Because if he's educated on things, if he's been around, if he's, the smart, wise person, you form this opinion based on that. You don't go 180 degrees the other way and change the complete opposite take.
Right. Unless you've been influenced.
It wasn't like you were just a kid and you didn't know, and now all of a sudden you're an adult. It's like, I can't believe I used to say that. He was an adult the whole time.
Right.
So how?
I don't know. You definitely could get suspicious for sure. But
I'm very suspicious.
But I hear people say that about me too, which is hilarious.
But I said
that I have like CIA
decades.
handlers.
I know, but
I've heard all that. I'm
decades,
like, okay.
dude. You've been doing this.
Yeah,
you're the OG. That's
I'm one
how
of
it
the
works.
OGs. Yeah. I think for sure people do get influenced, but I think people also allow themselves to get influenced because they have a financial interest in keeping a certain opinion because they know that the group that they belong to has that certain opinion. There's that. But the real problem with doing what he did was that it diminishes you publicly. Like if you really want to do that kind of a debate, if you really want to use those kind of tactics rather than a discussion of the issue, like you've never been, like that kind of stuff diminishes you publicly because everybody knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
Instead of just having a
Does
conversation
everybody, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody with an opinion I value knows what you're doing.
Right.
Because if you understand conversations, you understand this is not you're not really engaging with the ideas. You're deciding whether or not a person should have these ideas or be able to. You've never been there. Like you can't. How can you have an opinion? At least you should do the courtesy. Like now I'm virtuous. I have been.
Right.
I'm elevated. I'm better than you. You are diminished. You haven't even been there.
Yeah.
Your opinion is basically meaningless.
Yeah.
And then it gets to this weird place where it's like, who's allowed to talk about what? You know.
That's what it just. The change was so abrupt and so opposite. I was just like, because you could think if somebody was, I don't know. Okay, here's an example. I had somebody offer me yesterday, if I would wear their hat, $5,000. So
with the hat and a bunch of dicks on it?
No, it was just a brand. But so point is, there's value into doing this. So if somebody says, well, your voice is this powerful, or you can reach this many people, or this many people listen to you. So if it's a political party or a movement and they have this guy, we'll pay you this much to push this point.
It's possible. It's also possible that he views a guy like Dave Smith as sort of a dangerous upstart. Dave Smith has incredible recall, and he's very well read. I mean, he's a consummate consumer of information. And he's always reading books on different wars and foreign policy. Like, he's really into it. The way he explains it to me is like, because I'm always like, your recall's insane. He's like, yeah, but I could talk to you about a fight that happened 10 years ago, and you'll tell me exactly how it went down. Like, that's all it is. It's just, this is what I'm into.
Right.
It just, like, it's not, I'm not studying it for any other reason other than I'm fascinated by human conflicts, like global conflicts. And so when a guy like that is rising, you want to try to diminish his impact if he disagrees with your perspective. Like if you see someone.
But not everybody would want to diminish that impact. Not everybody. That's a certain type of person.
Yeah. But he's also a certain type of person that kind of existed in both traditional media and alternative media. I mean, he always did my podcast, and he's written some great books. Like The Strange Death of Europe is very good and proving to be very accurate.